Hey everyone, welcome back to Twice Shy. I'm Melody, and today we will be diving into something that we all deal with every single day: negativity. Whether it's coming from people around us, social media, or even our own thoughts, negativity is everywhere. And let's be honest, sometimes it's impossible to escape it. And here's the good news: you don't have to let it control you. Today, we are going to talk about how to navigate negativity, protect our energy, and stay in control of our mindsets, no matter what's happening around you. So why does this topic matter? I want you to take a second and think about the last time negativity affected your mood. Maybe someone made a rude comment and you couldn't stop thinking about it. Or maybe you started your morning feeling great, but then you checked social media, saw something upsetting, and then suddenly your whole mood shifted. Does that sound familiar? That's because negativity is incredibly powerful. It seeps into our thoughts, our emotions, and even our actions. And if we're not careful, it can shape how we experience life. But here's the thing: negativity isn't always in our control, but how we respond to it is. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So, this is just a little personal story of a moment when negativity almost took over. It almost took over a small aspect of my life. I remember there was a time when negativity completely took over my day. It was a while back. I was having a really good morning. I woke up feeling really motivated, happy. I had my morning hot chocolate and I was ready to be productive. But then out of nowhere, I got a message that threw me off completely. It was a passive aggressive comment from someone. Nothing huge, but it actually irritated me. And instead of brushing it off, I let it consume my thoughts. I kept replaying it again and again in my head, thinking about what I should have said, what they probably meant, whether I should respond. Before I knew it, I was in a bad mood. I was snapping at people, feeling completely unmotivated, and that was all because of one small negative moment that I gave way too much power to. Have you ever had a moment like that, where one thing throws off your entire mood? It's frustrating, isn't it? But what I realised is that I had a choice. I could either let that negativity control my day, or I could take a step back, shift my focus and move on. And that's exactly what I did. And trust me, learning how to do this has been a massive game changer. It hasn't been easy, it's taken years, but yeah, it's made a huge improvement in my life. So what to expect from this episode? So today, we're breaking it all down. We're going to talk about why negativity affects us so deeply. And to be honest, there's a huge hint, there's a scientific reason for it. The three biggest sources of negativity in our lives and how to spot them before they drain us. I'm going to talk about practical strategies for handling negativity, setting boundaries, and keeping your energy protected. And I'll discuss how to train your brain to focus on the positive, no matter what's happening around you. By the end of this episode, you'll have real actionable tools to help you navigate negativity with confidence. So the next time someone tries to bring you down or life throws you a challenge, you'll know exactly how to handle it. Does that sound good? All right, let's jump in. Segment 1. In this segment, I'll be talking about understanding negativity. All right, before we dive into solutions, we first need to understand what negativity actually is. Because here's the thing: you can't fix what you don't fully recognize. Negativity comes in many forms. Sometimes it's loud and obvious, like a rude comment from a coworker or a heated argument with a loved one. But other times, negativity is subtle and sneaky. It seeps into your thoughts, your habits, even your daily routine without you even realizing it. So let's break this down. First of all, what is negativity? Negativity is something that drains your energy, lowers your mood, or shifts your focus to what's wrong instead of what's right. So it could come from internal negativity, which are your thoughts, self-doubt, or limiting beliefs. It can also come from external negativity, such as people, news, social media, or toxic environments. Or it could come from situational negativity, such as challenges like financial stress, work pressure, relationship struggle. Why do we focus on negativity more than positivity? There's actually a scientific reason for this. It's called a negativity bias. Our brains are wired to focus on negative experiences because it used to help us survive. And I'm talking about our ancestors. Through evolution and through time, things have changed. But years ago, the survival mode was different. If our ancestors weren't hyper aware of dangers like predators, poisonous plants, or unsafe situations, they wouldn't have made it. Fast forward to today, we're no longer running from wild animals, but our brains still hold on to negative experiences more than positive ones. For example, imagine you get 10 compliments on something you did, but one person criticizes you. What do you dwell on? That one negative comment. Or let's say you had a pretty good day, but something mildly annoying happened. Maybe you got stuck in traffic or someone cut you off. Suddenly, your entire mood is affected. This is an awareness tip. Notice when your brain latches onto negativity. Simply recognizing it is the first step to shifting your focus. The three main sources of negativity in our lives. Negativity doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It comes from a specific source. Let's go deeper into each one. Number 1, internal negativity, which is the battle inside your own mind. Sometimes the biggest source of negativity isn't other people, but it's our own thoughts. Think about how often you say things to yourself like, I'm not good enough, I'm failing, what if this doesn't work? These thoughts feel real, but they're often just mental habits. For example, I had a friend who wanted to start a YouTube channel, but kept telling herself, I'm not confident enough on the camera, I'm too shy, what if something happens, what if no one watches? Because of that, she never started. The negativity wasn't from anyone else, it was from her own limiting beliefs. So what's the solution to this situation? Challenge those thoughts. Instead of, I'm not good at this, try saying to yourself, I am learning, and every step I take makes me better. It's time for a self-check now. What's one negative thought you've told yourself this week? Could you reframe it into something more empowering? Number 2, external negativity, the people and environments around you. Not all negativity comes from within. Sometimes it's the people we're surrounded by. There's toxic people, the constant complainers, the critics who never have anything nice to say, the people who always find something negative no matter how good the situation is. For example, I used to have a co-worker who complained about everything. The boss, the pay, the office drinks. And when I say drinks, I mean coffee, tea, hot chocolate. And before I knew it, I was complaining too. I realised that being around them was making me more negative. And I didn't even notice at first. So what's the solution to this situation? Set boundaries. You've got to limit conversations with negative people. If you can't avoid them, redirect the conversation. For example, if they say, work is awful, you could respond with, what's something good that happened today? Now here's a mini challenge. Think of someone in your life who often brings negativity. Can you limit your interactions or change how you engage with them? Number 3, solutional negativity, when life just feels hard. Sometimes negativity isn't from your thoughts or the people around you. It's just life being life. Maybe you're struggling financially. Maybe your job is draining you. Maybe you've had a series of bad days and it feels like everything is going wrong. For example, let's say you're having a bad month financially. Bills are piling up, and every time you check your bank account, you feel stress and negativity creeping in. What happens next? You start to feel irritable. You take out your frustration on the people around you. You start saying things like, I'll never get ahead, which keeps you in a negative cycle. Solution? Shift from helpless mode to problem-solving mode. Instead of, I'm stuck financially, try to say, what's one small action I could take today to improve my situation? It's not about ignoring reality, it's about changing your approach. So here's a mini challenge. If you're facing a tough situation, ask yourself, what's one action I could take today to move forward? Final thoughts on understanding negativity. Negativity is part of life, but it doesn't have to control your life. The key takeaways from this segment are 1, your brain naturally focuses on negativity, but you can retrain it to focus on the positive. 2, negativity comes from your thoughts, your environment, or life circumstances. And 3, You have more control than you think over how much negativity affects you. So, what's next? Now that we understand negativity, we're going to dive into how to navigate it, including practical strategies for protecting your energy, setting boundaries, and shifting your mindset. Segment 2: Identifying sources of negativity. Now that we understand what negativity is and why our brains naturally focus on it, let's look into something just as important: where negativity actually comes from. Because if you don't recognize where it's showing up in your life, you won't know how to manage it. Negativity usually comes from three main sources. 1. Internal belief, internal negativity. Your thoughts, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. 2. External negativity, other people, social media, and toxic environments. 3. Situational negativity, stressful life circumstances, unexpected challenges. Now let's break down each of these in detail and talk about how to identify them before they take over your energy. Internal negativity, the voice inside your head. Sometimes the biggest source of negativity isn't from the outside, it's from within. Have you ever caught yourself saying things like, "I'll never be good enough. I always mess things up. I don't think I can do this." This is negative self-talk, and it's one of the biggest ways negativity creeps into our lives. For example, let's say you made a mistake at work. Instead of thinking, "Okay, I'll fix this and move on," you start spiraling. Start saying, "I'm terrible at my job. Why can't I do anything right? What if my boss thinks I'm useless?" The biggest mistake itself wasn't a real problem. It was how you talked to yourself about it. How to spot it? If you find yourself speaking to yourself in a way you wouldn't speak to a friend, that's a sign of internal negativity. There's a quick fix though. You can catch yourself in a moment, reframe your thoughts. For example, instead of saying, "I'm bad at this," try saying, "I'm still learning and mistakes are part of growth." So here's a mini challenge. This week, listen to how you talk to yourself. Every time you catch a negative thought, try to replace it with a neutral or positive one. External negativity, the people and environments around you. Sometimes negativity doesn't come from within, it comes from other people or the environments we spend time in. Toxic people, how to spot them? There are a few types of negative people we tend to encounter. Number 1, the complainer. They always focus on what's wrong. Number 2, the critic. They always find a way to tear others down. Number 3, the drama magnet. Oh, everything is always an emergency. And number 4, the energy vampire. They leave you feeling drained after every single conversation. For example, I used to have a friend who'd only message me when she wanted to rant. And every time I saw her name pop up on my phone, I knew it was going to be an hour of non-stop complaining from her side. I thought I was being a good friend by listening, but after a while, I realised she wasn't even looking for solutions. She just wanted to offload her negativity onto me. So how do you spot it? Do you feel exhausted after talking to someone? Do they always bring negativity into conversations? Do they never ask how you're doing? Here's a quick fix. Set boundaries. It's okay to limit your time with negative people. Change the subject when they start complaining. For example, if someone is venting non-stop, ask, "Okay, so what do you think is the solution?" If they don't want solutions, they just want to complain, then you don't have to engage. Here's a challenge. Think of one person in your life who drains your energy. How can you set a boundary or limit how much negativity you absorb from them? Situational negativity, when life just feels overwhelming. Sometimes negativity isn't about people or thoughts. It's just life being life. For example, maybe you're going through financial stress or you're dealing with a tough situation at work. It's hard to stay positive when you feel overwhelmed. How to spot it? A. You feel constantly stressed about something. B. You find yourself talking about the problem all day. C. You feel stuck and don't see a way forward. Quick fix. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, focus on one small action you can take. Even tiny progress helps shift your mindset. For example, if you're stressed about money, instead of thinking, I'll never get out of this, ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today? Here's a mini challenge. What's one current stressor in your life? Can you shift your focus to action instead of just worrying? Segment 3. Strategies to navigate negativity. Now that we understand negativity and where it comes from, let's talk about solutions. Because here's the truth. You have more control than you think over how much negativity impacts you. You can't eliminate it completely, but you can decide how much power it has over your mood, your mindset, and your overall energy. So, I want to share 4 powerful strategies that will help you navigate negativity like a pro. These aren't just fluffy self-help tips. These are real practical shifts that will make a difference in how you feel every single day. The first one is mindset shifts. Rewire your brain for positivity. Negativity starts in the mind. That's why we have to train our brains to focus on solutions instead of problems. There's the 5-second reset. Have you heard of that before? Whenever you catch yourself in a negative thought spiral, take 5 seconds to reframe it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? What's a more empowering way to look at this? What would I tell a friend in this situation? For example, let's say you didn't get the job that you wanted. Instead of, I'm such a failure, I'll never find a good job. Try, that job wasn't meant for me. I'm getting closer to the right opportunity. Here's a science-backed tip. Your brain believes what you tell it. It's your subconscious. If you constantly think negative thoughts, your brain strengthens those neural pathways. But if you practice positive reframing daily, your brain starts defaulting to a more optimistic outlook. Here's a quick reflection. I want you to think about a recent negative situation. How could you have reworded your thoughts to make them more empowering? Secondly, we'll be looking at setting boundaries, protecting your energy like a pro. Negativity often comes from people, places, and situations that drain us. But the good news, you can set boundaries and protect your mental space. How to handle negative people without the drama? Yes, without the drama. 1. Limit your interactions. You don't have to engage in every single conversation. 2. Change the subject. Redirect negativity towards something neutral. And 3. Use neutral disengagement. A simple, interesting, or I see works wonders. That's actually my personal favourite. I see. For example, let's say you have a co-worker who constantly complains. Instead of joining in or getting frustrated, try saying, that sounds tough. What's something good that happened today? Or say, I get it. Work can be stressful. What do you do to unwind? Honestly, not everyone will like your boundaries, and that's okay. Protect your energy isn't about being rude. It's about valuing yourself. So here's another mini challenge. This week, notice who drains your energy the most. Can you limit your interactions or change how you respond to them? Thirdly, we'll be looking at self-care rituals, building your emotional resilience. If you don't actively refill your own energy, negativity will drain you completely. That's why self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. 3 powerful ways to reset after a negativity overload. 1. Grounding techniques. This is to clear mental clutter. Try the 4-7-8 breathing method. If you don't know what that is, you basically have to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Or you could do a quick 5-minute journal dump to release those negative thoughts. That's personally one of my favourites. It's one of my favourite techniques to do. Number 2, movement and exercise. This is to physically shake off negativity. Take a short walk, dance, do Pilates, do anything just to move your body. Research shows just 10 minutes of movement can reduce stress levels. Number 3, another favourite of mine, affirmations and self-talk hacks. And this is to rewire negative thought patterns. Every morning or every single time you wake up, say to yourself, I am in control of my energy. I don't absorb negativity that isn't mine. I attract peace and positivity. For example, I had a friend who used to scroll social media first thing in the morning. Within minutes, she'd see negative news, drama, and unrealistic comparisons, and it would actually ruin her mood. So she made a simple change. She said no social media for the first 30 minutes of the day. Instead, she stretched, journaled, and said 3 affirmations. And guess what? Her mood shifted completely. So here's a mini challenge. Try swapping your morning social media habit for a positive self-care routine and see how you feel. You'll see the difference in your day too. Number 4, responding instead of reacting. Mastering emotional control. One of the biggest life skills you can develop is learning how to respond to negativity instead of reacting emotionally. Here are 3 techniques to stay calm in negative situations. 1. Pause before reacting. If someone says something negative, take 1 deep breath before responding. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? For example, a colleague makes a passive-aggressive comment at work. Instead of snapping back, try this. Say, that's an interesting perspective, or say, I hear you. Then move on. 2. Detach from other people's negative energy. Someone else's bad mood doesn't have to become yours. Imagine a glass wall between you and their negativity. It bounces off it and doesn't reach you. For example, your partner comes home in a bad mood after work. Instead of absorbing their stress, remind yourself, their mood is not my responsibility. Instead, offer support without getting sucked in. I hear you. Do you want to talk about solutions or just vent? That's something you could say to them. Thirdly, know when to walk away. Some arguments and situations are not worth your energy. Give yourself permission to disengage when necessary. For example, if a friend or family member keeps pushing negativity onto you, say, I care about you, but I can't have this conversation right now. Or say, let's talk about something lighter. Here's another mini challenge. This week, when you feel negativity creeping in, take a deep breath before responding. See if it changes how you handle the situation. Final thought. You have more control than you think. Negativity doesn't have to control you. You are in charge of your energy, your boundaries, and your mindset. Key takeaways of this segment. 1. Reframe negative thoughts. Your mind believes what you tell it. 2. Set boundaries with people, social media, and toxic conversations. 3. Make self-care a priority, because an energized mind can handle negativity better. And 4. Learn to respond instead of reacting. This is your superpower. Final affirmation. I protect my peace. I choose my energy. I focus on what uplifts me. Segment 4. Real life application. Now that we've talked about understanding negativity and where it comes from, let's get into how to actually apply this in real life. So here's a question for you. How do you stay positive around negative people? Let's say you work with someone who's constantly negative. They complain all day, they gossip, and they drain your energy. For example, imagine you're in the office and your co-worker comes over and says, "Ugh, this place is the worst. The boss is annoying, nothing ever changes." What do you do? A. Agree and join in with the negativity. B. Ignore them and hope they stop talking. C. Redirect the conversation and protect your energy. The best strategy is to try saying something neutral like, yeah, I get that things aren't perfect, but honestly, I'm just trying to focus on what I can control. Most of the time, they'll stop venting to you because they're looking for someone to feed their negativity. Here's a mini challenge. Try this the next time someone brings negativity to you. See if changing the way you respond shifts the conversation. Here's another question from a listener. How do I stop overthinking negative thoughts? Let's say you get a rude comment on social media or someone criticizes your work. Instead of letting it ruin your day, try this. A 3-step method to let go of negativity. First step, pause and ask. Is this really about me, or is this person projecting their own negativity? Step 2, reframe it. This one comment doesn't define me. And number 3, redirect your focus. Shift your attention to something positive. For example, I once had a random person leave a rude comment on my post on TikTok. Instead of obsessing over it, I reminded myself, this person doesn't know me. Their comment says more about them than it does about me. Mini challenge. If something negative happens this week, try this 3-step process and see if it helps. Final takeaway. You have more control than you think. Negativity is everywhere, but you don't have to let it control your life. Notice where negativity is coming from. Decide how much energy you give it. Take back control of your thoughts, your responses, and your environment. Final affirmation. I protect my peace. I choose my energy. I focus on what uplifts me. Now we're at the end of the podcast. This is the conclusion of the podcast. Wow, we covered a lot today. We talked about what negativity is, why our brains focus on it, and where it actually comes from. We broke down the 3 biggest sources of negativity: our thoughts, the people around us, and the situations we face. And most importantly, we explored practical ways to protect our energy, set boundaries, and shift our mindset so that negativity doesn't control us. The key takeaways from this episode. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a quick recap of the most important lessons from today's episode. 1. Negativity is normal, but you do not have to absorb it. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control your response. Your perspective is powerful. Choosing to see situations differently can change how you experience them. 2. Set boundaries with people who drain your energy. If someone in your life is constantly negative, you don't have to engage in every single conversation. You can limit your interactions, redirect conversations, or simply choose to not let their mood affect yours. For example, remember that coworker who always complains? Instead of getting pulled into their negativity, you can either redirect the conversation or choose to keep it neutral. Protecting your energy is not rude, it's necessary. 3. Change how you talk to yourself. Your thoughts shape your reality. The more you tell yourself you're stuck, failing, or not good enough, the more you'll believe it. Instead, reframe those negative thoughts into something more empowering. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good at this, pause and reframe it. I'm still learning, and every step I take makes me better. 4. Take small positive actions to shift your mindset. Negativity thrives on feeling stuck, but taking even one small action can help break the cycle. Instead of focusing on the problem, shift your focus to what's one small step I can take. Alright, so here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to pay attention to one source of negativity in your life, whether it's a person, a habit, or your own thoughts, and apply one of the strategies we talked about today. Maybe you'll set a boundary with someone, reframe a negative thought, or shift your focus to something more positive. Whatever it is, I want you to take back your energy. And here's a bonus challenge. If you try this out, I'd love to hear about it. Send me a message on TikTok at Melody Harmony or tag me and let me know how it goes. Before we close out, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale, exhale, and repeat after me. I protect my peace. I choose my energy. I focus on what uplifts me. Let's carry that energy with us for the rest of the day. Take care.